Hi everyone, it's Miss Celeste here, and welcome to ECE 202, Week 2, Part 6 of our videos here, excuse me. And today we're going to really talk about how teachers can change or differ their ways of teaching in terms of the content, the process, and the product according to the student's readiness, interest, and learning needs overall. But before we get started, I am just going to let me put this in presenter mode really quick. I am just going to touch on a little bit of making sure that we are reading our text, reading chapters 3, 4, and 6, making sure that we are completing the journal, and of course the assignment, the PowerPoint presentation. So again, all details can be found in Canvas. So anything specifically, I encourage you to look there. Okay, so what is it to apply a different instruction when you're teaching in the classroom? So this really refers to an approach to education where teachers make changes to the curriculum and the way that they teach to maximize the learning of every student in the classroom. So this is something that we want to continue to apply and do when we are teaching in our classrooms, because everyone learns different. This is a great teaching aid to make sure that we are applying when we are making changes to, say, the curriculum, the lessons, and things like that, that we are just changing and different ways of approaching that so we can definitely maximize the learning experience for every child. So how do we support the students? Well, educators focus on the essentials so learners can recall and understand. So really get to the main core of what you're teaching. And sometimes that's just being very specific, in what that is and what you're trying to get them to gain through this lesson. Obviously, with the younger children, you might provide some more teaching aids, more visuals, right, to kind of keep them engaged, where maybe the older children need a lot more, yes, visuals, of course, but more experience of kind of getting to the point of what you're trying to get them to understand and learn. Another way is just teachers focus on student differences, which is a big part of making sure that we are creating that inclusive environment within our teaching classrooms, because that is going to provide so many learning opportunities when children are able to, really focus on their individual needs. Another way is applying assessment to understand needs of mastery. So we really need to find if students are mastering what they're learning. So do we need to make changes? Do we need to continue this lesson? And these are things that we have to continue to support. And then, of course, respect the readiness of all the students. They're all going to be ready at different times, so they're all going to differ with their readiness with that. So it could all kind of, be at different times. So you just need to make sure you're mindful of that. And then offer opportunities for all students. So if something isn't working for one, find other opportunities for students to either be included, be part of the process, or maybe revisit a lesson at a later time for, certain students, which that's okay. So what does the classroom, look like? Well, teachers can, rather than just giving tests and, evaluating that way, observe often, spend time in your classroom, spend time overseeing the classroom, getting others' feedback with that. Spending time taking notes and collecting that data, so then later you can reflect and really understand kind of where they are and how you can support them. Students can get offered, writing exercises, of course, if they're older and they're able to do that. Sometimes they do better when they're writing it out versus just hearing it or seeing it. Again, how we learn is really important to kind of master within our classroom environment, and understanding where the students are with that. Teachers can give, creative visual flow of the lesson and put up a show based on the lesson. So again, more visuals can help kind of understand the flow of what happens first, second, third, and so on. That really helps. Teachers can apply, this instruction by modifying, learning environments. So they're all not going to always work the same, and you are going to have to modify certain lessons pertaining to your children. So just be mindful of that. It's not going to always be approached the same way. So really try not to get in the habit of kind of doing things, repeatedly the same way, because that's not going to always be the most benefit for your children. And then also grouping is fun with lessons. So we all learn different. So let children learn from one another. That's the best way to learn sometimes, right? So this is such a meaningful opportunity for everybody involved. So get them to kind of be involved with each other. And also, depending on the type of child it is, it could be more meaningful for, say, a more introverted child to participate in a smaller group setting versus a larger group setting. So just be mindful of that. So what do the students kind of, look at? So the student's perception, and these are just really examples of what they take from when you apply a lesson in this form. So they say they learn more effectively if a lesson is delivered using my own learning style. I like it when teachers use material that presents content in a variety of formats. I feel challenged when my teacher presents content at, varying levels, depending on kind of where I'm at, right? I like being grouped with students who are similar interests and abilities. I like working in a variety of groups, formats, and, completing assignments. So they really enjoy the group settings. Learning is more fun if activities, assignments are formatted with options such as like write a paper, create a model. So depending on what you're good at, they really like to have that flexibility of applying that and showing them what they've learned. All teachers should be aware of their students' interests, readiness, and learning profiles. That's a big, big one in order for children to be successful. So we really have to spend time again with that observation. All teachers should consider students' interests, abilities, and learning profiles when preparing lessons and assignments. So again, catering to that need of what the students need should be very, very part of your process of creating those lessons and assignments. And then also, definitely being mindful of the interests of the whole class too. So there are many different components to this because all children kind of learn differently. We have to find ways that works for that group of children. And as much as that might sound a bit challenging for some, say, new teachers who maybe haven't done this before, like how do I meet everybody's need, say in a big classroom? But that also means that you have to do a lot of observations. You have to do a lot of, applying different teaching aids that will work or not work. And that's really how you fine tune what approach you're going to do, because you really don't know that, before starting a new class, because you don't know the children yet, right? So it is a process. So please let the process happen in order to really understand more of how you're going to approach their learning, because you're not going to always know that right off the top. Of course, you're going to have a guide, say a curriculum, a lesson plan of what the general guide is of what you're going to lead with, but how you're applying that can change over time, and that's okay. So of course, the challenges of what this can create, and some educators have, really, like I just said, applying the different instruction to different students can be challenging for educators. One, maybe because you have a really large number of students in your class. Two, maybe you don't have the assistance or co-teaching support. that you need to be successful. So there are areas that can hinder the progress of you trying to create this type of environment. So what I encourage you to do is take more time and effort to prepare the small group lessons. Take more time to get the resources, ask the questions to those leaderships that you need to get that support, so that you have solutions for positive outcomes. But of course, while it's difficult, it does not yield the results. Students who are less engaged because they do not find the lesson and activities challenging become more participative, and the learners who are seemingly lagging behind would improve their performance. My goodness, what does that say about our approach? So making sure that we are finding ways to keep them engaged can be really, really challenging, but it is definitely okay to ask for help and go to other classrooms and get some support from other teachers, because this is, again, a revolving learning process for all of us, because every child is a new experience. So the way that you may change the way you might set up a lesson, for an example, may be different and continue to change and evolve over time. So just be mindful that there is no right answer. It's just, as long as you are trying to find different ways of approaching that, students learning, you're really trying to find a successful outcome. So thank you so much. I hope this has been informative. I know it's a lot of information all at once, and I tend to kind of just talk a lot because I am very passionate about many areas in education, and finding that balance in your classrooms, finding that confidence within you to perform at a level of great confidence is something that you have to find within yourself. And it does happen over time as you experience the classroom. You go through these challenges. You go through bumps in the road of finding what works, what doesn't work. So, a lot of us are, wanting to know, how do I do, this approach, or how do I do this lesson? A lot of it is done through the process of you doing it. And there's really not a lot of, what's the word, like direction. Of course, there's like obviously a goal and a direction that, of course, I can guide you in, but unless I'm in that classroom with you, going through that experience, there's so much more meaningful that's happening that I don't see from here. So again, if you have any questions, or there's anything I can support you in specifically your role in your classroom, please reach out, because I'd love to talk more one-on-one to give you some more creative ideas that can best support you, because to everyone in this class, it could look very, very different. Okay. All right. So until next time, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.